Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I'm joined once again by my good friend Matt.
As I was driving on the highway yesterday, I saw a flashing road sign up above me that said, "Only the casserole should be baked. Don't drive high."
That's awesome. Was it just like an ad council type thing? Or...
No, it was like I don't know if they have these in New York, but like the road signs that tell you what like the travel time will be between two places.
Oh yeah.
Like orange light LED stuff.
Yes,
I don't think it's LED.
Yes, yeah,
but,
that we have those. Yeah. Oh, so it wasn't like a billboard. It was like
no.
It was just like the. All right.
It was a light up sign. That like flash between like this interstate in 19 minutes and then the casserole thing.
Right. Yeah, what a very Thanksgiving forward, thinking of like, hey, let's Thanksgiving it up so that way to tell people to don't freaking smoke pot.
Don't get high on Thanksgiving.
Don't get high.
or do if your family's cool.
Yeah.
And not narcs.
Yeah. I was gonna say like don't smoke behind the wheel, but if you're in your house, maybe the turkey will taste a little bit better if you go that route. That's totally fine. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. This comes out on Wednesday, but I'm sure most people will have the freer time on either Thursday or Friday. So it is the Thanksgiving holiday, and it is a time for giving thanks to the things in your life that mean a lot to you and that have helped you get through whatever struggle that you went through this year. And there's been a lot of struggles with this year's NFL season.
Yep.
So it's a good time to just kind of like just sit back and just let's just talk about the things that we're thankful for. So kind of Thanksgiving table style, we'll kind of go around the room. And when I say around the room, it's just two of us here.
It's two of us.
So I'll let you start, Matt. What are you thankful for this 2019 Thanksgiving?
I am very thankful for a few things. One of them is the emergence of Lamar Jackson, and that is a very very important thing. I think in the NFL to have these people who kind of come out of nowhere. These quarterbacks, especially, who come out of nowhere and prove that they are the NFL's next new thing. Whether or not it lasts, it's still cool to see that it's not just the old guard of the NFL dominating everything all the time. Mm. And it's also nice to see a new face kind of emerge as the top contender in the AFC, at least from a lot of people's perspectives, from what we're used to for so long.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm thankful for is I'm really thankful for teams who are not afraid to change things when needed. You look at teams like the Titans who go away from Marcus Mariota and suddenly they're on a really good winning run. The Colts lose their franchise quarterback. The Bengals decide that they need to win a game now that they have the first overall pick. So it's nice to see that teams are doing things to change up what they do. Mm-hmm. And it's very it's very cool to see at least some whether it's success or failure, that there's some risk taking and happening in the league this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the last thing I'm thankful for, and this is more of a selfish thing, but I'm thankful for my fantasy football team.
That's perfect.
Because I am in my dynasty league, I have the aforementioned Lamar Jackson as well as Christian McCaffrey and DeAndre Hopkins, and they are kind of carrying me to. At this point, an 11-1 record with a point total over 100 more than second place.
Wow.
If I do not win this year, I will be very upset. But regardless, I'm thankful for my fantasy team for really being cool and really like having good people and good players on the team to kind of fill that out. So that's what I'm thankful for this NFL season.
Yeah, I imagine that's going to be a lot of like the NFL fantasy accounts on Twitter That's kind of like the jokes that they're keep on like. You are thankful for your fantasy team, right? Like,
everyone is thankful for Lamar Jackson because they got him in the 9th round or later, or if you're me, you got him in like the 20th round of the dynasty startup last year.
Right? Yeah, it works out perfectly.
And almost traded him away for Blake Bortles.
On the I love the quarterback changing thing because I definitely it reinvigorates team. I'm gonna to start out my thanks. I will echo your sentiments. It's so nice seeing a team be dominant that isn't the usual suspects, and it's with Lamar Jackson, how criticized he was and how ridiculed he was and I don't even know, ridicule is definitely maybe a stronger word for it, but they were basically saying like, oh, you won't play quarterback, you'll just go to wide receiver. It was so for some reason people really did not think it was going to work at this level. But the thing about the coaching, first of all, and just the fact that he has always been a playmaker, that stuff does not just fade away. Sometimes it does when you transition from the NFL to college, or when you transition from the college to the NFL level. Sometimes it does, and there's not really a great explanation for it outside of maybe coaching, and maybe just generally not getting used to the professional level, the speed of it. But I just think that he was too special to not think he was going to be successful, and he's proving it this year. And the big thing is, like you mentioned, it provides hope. I mean, every single year you have this AFC team, whether it was like the Jaguars in 2017, the Chiefs in 2018, and now the Ravens, it just provides hope that anyone is going to step up here and going to actually beat the Patriots for once. We have now gone through 3 straight years of the Patriots being in the championship game, and it is so annoying to me to have to keep on watching that over and over again. I'm sure Patriots fans love it, but you just want to see something new, and especially with the way the Patriots offense is functioning at the moment, I don't want to. I especially don't want to see this team. Now the defense is fun to watch. I'll give them that. I don't want to see them make it. I want to see a team like the Ravens, who are so complete from top to bottom, make it. So that's the big first thing that I'm thankful for. The next thing I'm thankful for is a personal note a little bit for me, is that I'm happy to say, even though he has his rookie struggles like per usual, I'm glad the Giants seem to have found a franchise quarterback. I mean, he has played decent football this year. I know the record doesn't reflect that, but a lot of that
I would argue more than decent. In a lot of cases.
Yeah, he's played really well, but a lot of it has been the fact that the defense has been just god awful this year. He played a tough Bears defense on Sunday, and that kind of slowed him down a bit. And he is very turnover heavy, but the guy is able to basically shrug off anything. He's able just to keep on playing the game. He's thrown any kind of ball that you can imagine. Like he's really good at what he does, and he has a good group around him. If they could keep him upright, first of all, they have to get a better O-line, but he has some great weapons around him that can really, really do well. I really have faith, and I'm thankful for the Giants that they finally drafted the quarterback, and it seems at the moment that they've made a pretty good choice. But that it's only his first year. We'll see how it unfolds. And the last one,
you might want to wait a couple on that.
Oh, yes, of course, of course. But I feel like he's at least showing me that he can really do something. He hasn't really. I don't think he has shown like a game manager role yet. He's really, I think, taking control of things. The third thing I'm thankful for, and this may only be for this week only, I am thankful for Duck Hodges. And I have just become I've accepted the fact that the Steelers are probably going to end up making the playoffs in some regard, even after we buried them into the ground like we did. I mean, sure, you got tie-ins, maybe the Browns, the Colts, of course. Maybe could end up being in that 6 seed mix, but the way that things are going in the Steelers' favor, could potentially make a run. I just wanted to see a competent quarterback take control of this team to at least make them seem decent to watch. And Duck Hodges, every single time he's come in, whether it was earlier this year in the Chargers game, or when he came in against the Bengals on Sunday, he just seems like he has more control of the offense. It seems like the team plays better a little bit when he's on the field, and he is able to make the throws. He's not perfect, he's not amazing, but I love the fact that his name is Duck Hodges, and he's like, I mean, his real name is Devlin Hodges, but yeah. That's his nickname at least. He is just, I just hope for the sake of everything that if, God forbid, the Steelers end up making the playoffs, that at least they could get some decent quarterback play out of it, because their defense is pretty good. So I'm thankful for that, in the sense of just like, let's have these backup quarterbacks actually do something for once, and I'm hoping that he's the guy on that front. So that's,
I think these are all great things to be thankful for. I'm gonna add one more in.
Sure.
I'm really thankful that we get to do this podcast, because it's a lot of fun. It gives me a new love for the sport, I think, being able to talk about it with you every week, and just talking with you every week. I know our lives are really busy right now, so having this opportunity to just every week like have a conversation with you, if this is the only time of the week that we actually do, is really important to me. So I'm very glad that we
it sounds really sad.
I'm just thankful that we're doing this, that we're co-hosting this.
Yeah.
Because you mean a lot to me.
Yeah. Absolutely,
and I wouldn't imagine doing this without you.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful to you and everything that you bring in my life in terms of your creativity and your terrible jokes, but sometimes really good jokes. And you're just a good friend to me, and the Virtual Ball Boys, I feel like it's really nice to be able to feel like this is going somewhere. And for a while it was just kind of something that we threw together, but I really love what we're doing right now, and I hope it kind of continues to unfold and grow, and as well as Table Party. As we do continue to do that, as other podcasts and other projects that we want to work on, continue to come together. I'm very thankful for what we've started to create, and I'm looking forward to continuing to create as we move forward. So yeah, that's definitely something I keep in mind this Thanksgiving. And with that, we now move towards the Thanksgiving games, and I initially was like, we'll take a little bit of a break before we do another one of these, but it just perfectly lined up where we have
3 games.
We have here. 3 games, and they're all like interesting matchups depending on whether or not they could be. There's different scenarios where you could pit the mascots against each other. So it's another round of mascot matchups, Thanksgiving edition. So I've picked out 3 cards at random.
Don't know what they are.
I have not looked at them at all. And
all right,
we're gonna do each one side by side.
So here's the thing. 3 of these, actually, all 3 of these games contain mascots that we did last time.
That's correct.
So I want to propose that we whatever we did last time, we do the other one.
Okay. That's fair.
Just so we have the chance to argue from a different perspective. So, with Bears and Lions, I will argue the Lions side this time. You will argue the Bears side.
Yeah, that sounds good. And yes, that'll be the first matchup that we start. And Bills Cowboys. I forget who did Bills last time. I did Bills.
You did Bills because I did Dolphin.
Okay, so you'll be a Bills. I'll be Cowboy.
Yep, and then you did Falcon last time because I did Panther. So I will do the Falcons.
I'll do Saints. Okay, so that we have it taken care of. Let us begin with the first matchup, Bears versus Lions. Who would make the better villain in a spy movie?
A spy movie, okay.
You go first.
All right, so with Lions, basically you just need to imagine Scar from The Lion King. this very devilishly evil, probably homosexual, very
love it.
Like conniving lion who is working on everything behind the scenes gathering the people he needs to succeed. And it also, like, the climax of, like, him sitting in that chair when the spies, like, finally reach his office and he turns around. That would have such a great impact, whether or not he was in a suit or not. I think a suit would fit better on a lion than a bear. And the turnaround, the reveal, and then the like snide smile before he, like, hits the button that activates the trap that traps the spies before like at, like, the end of Act 2 part of the movie, when, like, the everything goes to shit part of the movie.
Yeah.
So I think, just in terms of presentation, especially if you think about it in the sense of Scar from The Lion King, a lion would fit better in this scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think my argument for the bear is that I think the presence of I picture the bear to almost be like a big boss, almost like someone that, like, that is kind of like a silent evil, maniacal, planner of evil deeds. And I feel like, as, like, the cronies sit around a table and discussing things, I could just see him, like, standing, like, just sitting there stoically, like, completely deadpan, like, completely no expression in the face, and almost just pointing at the evil plan and having the cronies just nod. I can imagine that the giant nature of the bear basically is imposing enough where I think that without even speaking, almost has, like, has probably the strongest personality of the entire movie, just in its imposing nature and how it would approach trying to get rid of the spy and execute whatever plan they have. So I think that's probably the best thing I could do for now with the bear.
Okay.
And also, Winnie the Pooh is not so innocent. I think he's ahead.
Christ.
He's probably ahead of some sort of, you think that it's just honey in those pots. I mean, I'm just saying he's there's some evil things.
Do you remember that scene from B Movie where they assassinate Winnie the Pooh?
What? I do not remember this.
Yeah, there's like a scene where they're going around and, like, pulling honey from all the shelves. It's just a tranquilizer, but they trank Winnie the Pooh, who has honey.
My God, that's dark. By the way, I forgot to mention what we're using for this argument is the card game Super Fight, an expansion pack known as the Challenge Deck. It kind of a similar concept in terms of Super Fight, where you pick a hero and you have to argue for either side. So just wanted to throw it out there. If you have not seen the previous segment, that's what we're using for this matchup. Next up, the Bills and the Cowboys. The battle is weaponized go-kart racing.
Jesus Christ!
So, all right. Here's what. Okay, so here I'll start. Or do you want to just quickly do that?
I need longer to think about mine, so you can go first.
all right. So, I'm a cowboy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I forgot. So, I mean, look, the cowboy can handle his weapons, all right? The gun and the lasso and the, there's so many things where you could try to me, when I think about weaponized go-kart racing, and correct me if I'm wrong, it just kind of reminds me of Mario Kart a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm trying to picture this. Like, do the drivers have weapons, or are the go-karts, like, partially weapons? Like, are the weapons part of the go-karts?
The concept I have in my head is Mario Kart, so I'm guessing it's just like that. Oh, I don't know. I guess that you would get, like, you would maybe have the items attached to the cart itself, maybe. Okay. I don't know, but but at the same time, I'm thinking like a, go through the question block and then,
right.
At the same time. So, and the bananas are hanging off the side. So I just think that the cowboy just knows how to handle the weapons and driving things around. I mean, he if he can handle a horse, a living being, I think he can handle a go-kart. Yeah, I think that the bull would be an easy target on the go kart. I mean, we kind of had the same argument with the fencing, but it would just be an easy target because being so bulky and big, I feel like it would be very easy for them to kind of hit it. Now, in terms of weaponized go kart racing, makes me think who would win, and my argument would be that if we're thinking Mario Kart esque, I could see an argument for the bull, but I also think that the cowboy maybe being smaller would have a little bit of a quicker speed to get around as well.
Well, it depends on the Mario Kart game, because in the more recent ones, the heavier characters have a higher.
Well, I
speed.
was.
Like, if you look at
that's
if
why
you
I was
look
saying.
at 64,
Yeah.
like Toad has the higher speed, and he's the smaller one.
Right. I feel like logically speaking, I feel like in terms of again, we don't know what universe this would be take place in. I think logically something that maybe be a little bit smaller might be able to go a little bit faster, but hey, I mean, I guess it also depends on what kind of cart you build. So it really is all dependent. I just think that the cowboy, I think, will be more prepared for a situation like this. That the cowboy could go in and I think that they did some horse racing back in the day, and they've done like the shooting of the gun. They actually they called it something. I wrote a story about this like earlier this year about like people riding on horses and shooting balloons. I'm gonna freaking forget what they called it. There was a specific thing. It was mounted shooting, mountain horse. I don't know what it was, but anyways, that's my argument for the cowboy.
All right. Okay, so my argument for the buffalo here. Buffalo doesn't need a cart. Buffalo can run. Look, if the object, the weaponized go-kart racing, the weapons are going to be a part of it, right? However, like the weapons are a means to the end, but not an end itself. So, while the Cowboys try to take all the sharp turns, Buffalo's just going to charge through the track.
You can't. You're
walls.
removing the concept from the game. You're just saying he's a bull at the racetrack now.
Bulls and buffaloes are different things, Chris.
Or buffaloes, rather. That's what I meant. But regardless.
However, if they were to be in a go-kart, I think its weight and simply using its weight and the go-kart's weight as a weapon itself to knock the lighter cowboy out of the way would be an incredibly effective tool to win the race, prevent the cowboy from catching up, and I think that would help with that kind of is what gives the buffalo, whatever the fuck, an advantage here. They named their goddamn team like after the city, and then they named it after like an outlaw, Buffalo Bill, and then they just made their mascot the city name. It's the only like the city name is the mascot. That doesn't make any fucking sense, Buffalo.
It should be two cowboys duking it out on
the Buffalo Buffaloes. The Buffalo Buffaloes.
Would you how bad do you think like people would hate on that if that actually was the case, if they actually called it the
Not if it was like when they like if they were founded, like that would just be the like it would just be the thing. People would just accept it. People don't clown on others in the 60s.
It was a lot more relaxed time, not really.
The 60s were a very relaxed time, historically relaxed.
That's not accurate at all. No, not at all.
Anyway, that's my argument for the buffalo.
All right. And finally, the Falcon and the Saint. All right.
What's your like frame of reference for what a saint is?
I'm thinking like a pope.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking someone of very like just higher clergy regard, I guess. Nearly I guess someone. I mean, we worship saints too, right? I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty a high deity. But Best monster in a horror movie.
Say that again.
Sorry. Best monster in a horror movie.
Are we going to get in trouble with the religious community for doing this?
Absolutely. You go first.
All right. Well, I mean, the movie Birds.
End of argument.
End of argument.
Is that really it? Are you not even gonna...
I don't know what else to say.
Okay, well...
That would make my point any clearer without just, like, explaining the plot of the movie Birds.
Well, I'm okay if there's... Hold on. I want to find this out. Hold on. Have you ever seen the movie... Have you ever seen the movie Spotlight?
What? The what?
Have you ever seen the movie Spotlight?
No, what is it?
It was about the Boston Club investigating the clergy.
Oh my god.
You know what? Here's, without getting really bad, all I'll say is, I think that the Saint could be a villain in the sense that I think we could say that power it has to involve some sort of corruption, I think. And but we're also talking they're doing awful things, and I think that's what kind of almost creates the monsters. They're not like the theoretical monster. They're not like Frankenstein or anything like that, but they're the monsters of like there's some sort of corruption that's happening within a church, and I think that I guess that would be kind of the surrounding plot, and maybe like almost like they're creating zombies. It's like some sort of screwed up things like that in a monster movie. Because if we're talking monster movie, there has to be, I guess, a monster, and I guess that's what I would think would happen in it. That would be my argument. Is that I don't know. I'm trying to think of like it's really hard with Saints because it's like the Saint is not really living.
They're inherently good people.
That's
why they're saints.
Well,
hey, how'd the podcast recording good? Oh, good. We got really mushy, and then we called a children's cartoon character homosexual and offended an entire religion.
I don't know. I that's my best argument would just be that something happens within the church, that the spirit of the saint turns out not to be as good as it seems, and they rise the zombies that's in the surrounding graveyard, that next to the church or whatever. And that I think, because it's a fictionalized universe in this sense. And that's that's it. We'll watch Spotlight, guy. So if I remember this time, I'll make sure to do these polls a lot sooner. For this upcoming week. So vote for who you think we had the best argument. That was
had the best arguments
for the Saints. The Saints are definitely... That's it! The Saints come marching in, and they kill everyone!
Oh!
That's it! There you go! There we are. We found it. We found... we found the solution to this monster movie saga. Alright. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, it is week 13, and that means every team has officially played 11 games. And we're down to 5 weeks left. This is the cusp. This is where the cheese really gets grated. It's when the grapes really get stomped on. It's other analogies, go Cubs.
None.
Could you not just play with this? Whatever. Fuck you.
Nope. I was gonna say something. Oh, have there been other than the Bengals? Have there been any teams eliminated from playoffs?
No, but
Okay.
we could touch on that real quick. There's a lot of scenarios that could happen this week, including clinching scenarios. I know that the Saints win. They win the NFC South. So that's basically, and they're facing the Falcons. It's most likely scenario. And so and as far as I understand, the Patriots can win, and then like one of like the wild card teams has to lose. I think like the Steelers or the Raiders have to lose,
and they clinch the playoffs.
They clinch the playoffs at that point, and then
but you got the Bills there.
Yeah, you can't clinch the division yet, and
Yep.
the Niners. I think it's a win.
They clinch the playoffs. I have it up. They clinch the playoffs with a win or Rams loss.
Rams loss.
Win and Rams loss.
And the Rams loss. Okay.
Uh,
And now as for the 11 teams that can be eliminated, I think half of the NFC teams that are outside the playoff picture could be eliminated this week.
That does not surprise me.
You got Redskins and Giants basically a loss away. Falcons would be a loss away. Cardinals are a loss away, and so are the Lions. Yeah. Because basically a loss would put them out of reach of 8 wins, and
that's what Seattle and Minnesota are already at.
Right, and the Giants and Redskins, they're still in it only because of the Cowboys, and I believe if either the Giants or Redskins lose and the Cowboys win, the Giants or Redskins would be eliminated at that point.
That's what that was last week, I believe.
Yes, yeah. So that's basically where we're at now. The Buccaneers might also have a elimination scenario. I'm not too sure, but that would mean that if that is the case, that would mean 6 of the 10 NFC teams on the outside could be eliminated this week, and then on the other side, I think only the Dolphins and maybe the Broncos. No,
could get eliminated.
Yeah, I that's a stretch though. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, it's
starting. It's starting.
That's what I mean. It's the gears are beginning to turn. You know, the turkey is being carved. The
potatoes are being mashed.
There you go. Thank you for participating.
The sauce is being cranberried. Not the other way around.
No, it's being cranberried. You know, look it up. Take that, atheists. All right. So let's do the pick'ems. We got. It sounds like a snack. Little pick'ems. We'll have some pick'ems. So we went 9-5 as a collective unit, and once again, for the second week in a row, we both got our guarantees right, and both got our Team Chaos wrong.
Yes.
So things.
I should have put my faith in the Niners. I was swept up in Packer hype for some ungodly reason.
Oh, you actually Team Chaos the Cowboys.
I did. No, I said I just should have chosen.
Oh, yes.
In the pick, I wouldn't have chaos them, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, it's still neck and neck with 5 weeks to go, only a 4-point difference and a 2-pick difference, I guess you could say, with just the regular records. So we'll see how it all unfolds. And let me see here. Okay. You could get started with this one.
All right, Thanksgiving matchup number 1. Chicago Bears take on the Detroit Lions for the second year in a row, and the second year in a row where a backup quarterback will be starting for one of the teams. Chase Daniel started for the Bears last year.
Yes.
And the Lions still lost. It is in Detroit, and these two teams just faced each other a couple weeks ago. Bears coming off of kind of an ugly loss to the Rams. Win from the Giants. The Rams was 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Ugly win against the Giants. But the Lions just lost to Washington.
Mm.
How do you think this matchup is going to go?
Also,
we are through all bye weeks, so all the teams are not playing for the rest of the season.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah.
You gotta pay attention, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I remember
So
that now.
the line, you're fine. So here's the thing. I'm gonna go with the Lions in this one, and I is for the pure reason that I think that they are a better team at home than they are on the road, and I just think that the team has. I think that there is a little the Bears defense is playing well, and I think that would be what really crushes this Lions team if it doesn't work out. But I just don't have a lot of faith right now in the Bears and the way that they do things, and I don't know. I'm a little bit out on that team, and I think that they are. I could see where on the road they fall under pressure and they fold. So it's not team chaos or anything. It's just I'm picking the Lions.
Okay. I'm gonna check the spread real fast. Just because I'm curious what the
I
deal
think
is.
it's like 6.5 favorites.
It's a fucking 1 point.
Oh, why am I?
Lions are favored by
Oh,
1 point.
oh yeah. Oh, the Lions are favored by 1 point.
Yes.
Oh, I'm a little surprised by that. I thought the Bears would.
I'm still gonna stick with the Bears. Bears defense is the best component on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will be good enough. I think you saw what Trubisky can kind of do against a bad defense in the Giants. And I think the Lions defense is better, but still beatable. And I got to root hard for the Bears on Thanksgiving. So
Yeah, that's all fair.
Yeah.
Next up, the Bills take on the Cowboys, and isn't it stunning to you that looking into this year, everyone was like Bills against Cowboys. That's a weird one, and it turns out it's the best matchup of of the three.
Yeah.
So there you go. Bills are coming in, looking real good. 8-3. Really took care of the Broncos, and the Cowboys coming in not so looking good after just an ugly loss to the Patriots. What do you think's going to happen?
I have confidence in the Bills in this one. I know the Cowboys really desperately need a win, but and the picks, ESPN picks, definitely think this is going to go the Cowboys' way. Weird stuff happened in that New England game, mainly due to weather, but I still think that the Bills will take this one.
I think the Cowboys are held back by their coaching, and it becomes apparent every single week. And then there was the report that Jason Garrett would be in line for the Giants job if he gets fired by the Cowboys. So that's fun. I think that the Cowboys are just they're not right now. I think everyone talks about how good their defense plays. I don't think they have been amazing. I think the stats certainly say so, but I think they have. It's been hard for them to really do anything, especially with Van Der Esch not being there. And I look at this Bills team. Their secondary is the best unit that they have, especially Tre'Davious White, who's right behind Gilmore as one of the best corners in the league. You have a pass rush that's starting to get there. Their run defense is getting better. And I think that Josh Allen is starting to use his legs a lot more, which is his strength. And I think that's what's going to project this team to a victory, and probably a surprise victory for some on Thursday night. I think this Bills team is legit, and I think they're going to prove it in front of a national crowd.
I do as well. Go Buffalo.
Yep.
All right, night matchup: New Orleans Saints, Atlanta Falcons. Was this matchup last year's as well?
Yes, but it was in New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay. So Saints and Falcons. Saints. What did they do last week? They won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the Falcons had a rough game against Tampa Bay that should have been pretty easy for them. How do you think this matchup's going to go?
Yeah. Saints came close. It was a close matchup with the
yeah. Oh
the
yeah, I
Panthers.
remember it was that matchup against Carolina. That was a fun game.
It was a really fun game, and they kind of won in the similar style as they did with the Texans game. It was really cool. They're playing a lot of close football, and so I would not be shocked if this game is close. But I do believe that the Saints will pull out here. I think that they are by far the better team, and they are going to lock up the NFC South on Thursday.
I agree with that sentiment.
Saints. Seahawks.
Falcons have kind of gone back to being Falcons.
Yeah, they're no longer the Super Bowl 54 champion Falcons.
Yep. When was that? Was that just after the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
A lot of people are crowning them.
Yeah. All right. Next up.
Next up is the Jets at the Bengals, and this Jets team is three wins deep. They completely blew out the Raiders, and it seems like they're finally showing something after it seemed like the Jets were like the underrated hype team compared to the Browns, and both of them ended up disappointing. But now the Jets 3 wins in. And they've beat a quality opponent, and now they get to go into Cincinnati and potentially continue that win streak. What do you think is going to happen?
I just feel something.
Oh boy. I come on, man.
Oh no, I don't like your reaction.
Andy Dalton, AJ Green's still going to probably be out of this game. There's no offense. The defense can't do shit. Nothing about this team's going to win. This team is going 0-16, man. I mean, or if anything, they're going to win like a super late December game. But no, I cannot let you do this to yourself.
Yeah, I wasn't messing with you. I wasn't going to pick the Bengals as Team Chaos, but I'm going to change my pick now.
No way. You know what? We're going to say this now, and then the Jets will drop a bomb. But I'm just saying... Or drop an egg, I should say. I can't watch. I can't let you do. The Bengals are not trustworthy enough. I don't care if Dalton's starting again.
Yeah, looking at the rest of the team, like Joe Mixon's playing well, but that's really it.
And even then, it's like he's not really getting much on the ground.
He's just got the volume.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, Jets.
I'll go Jets, of course.
You could have let yourself get a free point, but
I respect you too much to let you for me to win against you that easily. All right, no way, shape or form. All right, next up,
Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, a matchup that got almost really bad last time they met, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bad blood between them this time around. This time in Pittsburgh. How do you think this matchup's going to go?
This is one of the harder matchups to pick, but I and the Browns, their momentum is they're doing well. They got a few wins under their belt. It seems like they're turning things around. I think the Steelers' defense stops them. There's something about this being in Pittsburgh that I think is going to be significant here. And I think the Steelers take care of it. I really do. I think that their defense is really good. And I think that the fact they have Duck Hodges there, I think that that's at least a okay enough quarterback to just take care of a Browns team without Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I guess they don't have Myles Garrett. This one's hard for me too. I'm on the Browns side. Yeah, I mean, I really like the Browns. Obviously, the Browns offense had a great week last week against Miami. I don't know. I want to defer. I'm gonna pick the Browns.
Okay.
Just because you're really excited on Duck Hodges. He is still the third string quarterback. Maybe we'll play better than Mason Rudolph, but when he was in last time. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the offense being super solid.
Do you remember that Chargers game?
Oh, the Chargers game. That was Hodges?
That was Hodges.
Oh, fuck.
That was 24-0 at one point. The defense gave up a few points at the end to become 24-17, but still.
God. I don't know what to do.
Go with your gut. That's
because the Steelers, you say the Steelers are going to make the playoffs. I don't think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs.
Their defense is really good.
I know.
That's what's getting them through a lot of the games. And look, that Browns game that was certainly one that was like okay that they had, but that was an ugly game. Even though it ended up being 21-7, a lot of those points, if I remember, maybe I'm misremembering, but I believe those were off of turnovers as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Rudolph had 4 interceptions in that game.
Yeah. All right. Let's do Steelers.
Okay. I'm really convincing you out of the loss.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I just that's how at least I approach this, for this week.
Yep.
Next, and for me, yeah, like I said, I picked the Steelers.
Yep.
Next up, the Packers go to New York to take on the Giants for the first time since the 2016 playoffs. These two teams meet.
Ooh.
And I remember that game fondly because it was a game where the Giants did really poorly, and then I got mad online because people were saying that the boat trip was the reason why they lost the game. And then I laid in the darkness for 2 hours before getting up and continuing my day. So that was some great memories.
I remember that.
I can't wait to relive those days. So the Packers, coming off a brutal loss against the Niners, kind of got brought back down to earth a little bit. The Giants, in the meantime, are just on earth, maybe deep within earth at this point, saying at 2-9, and things could get worse for them this week. What do you think's going to happen?
I think the Packers are going to be okay.
Yep.
The 49ers are a really legit team.
Yeah.
And getting spanked by them is just kind of protocol at this point.
Yeah, part of the the just the swing of things.
The Cardinals played I do want to mention though, the Cardinals played the 49ers better than the Packers played the 49ers.
Oh, I absolutely.
Twice.
Yep. And yeah, the Packers just couldn't get it done. Something about the West Coast for them, I think, is just rough. So now they're going to the East Coast, and maybe things will get better for them. I think it will. I agree.
I mean, they lost to the Eagles early in the season.
There you go. But I like the Packers in this.
Yep. All right, next up, the Tennessee Titans and Indianapolis Colts face off. Both teams are 6-5. Both teams trying to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Loser will probably effectively be out of it, not totally, but just with the head-to-head win. Who won the first time they played?
The Colts won. That was
Okay.
That was like the start of the continuing Titans going back and forth again because they blew out the Browns and then
lost the Colts.
Yeah.
Okay. But both teams, Colts coming off a loss to the Texans, Titans coming off of a slaughtering of the Jaguars.
Yes, indeed.
What do you think is going to happen?
This is a nice new era with the Titans. I like it. I like that Ryan Tannehill's playing well. I like that the defense is playing well. I just think for whatever reason, it just feels like the Titans are just more. They're functioning more without Marcus Mariota behind there, and it's certainly Derrick Henry is just an absolute monster. One of the best running backs in the league. It does not get the credit that he deserves.
No, not at all.
I really like the Titans in this one.
I do too. I think that the Ryan Tannehill taking over has really turned around this team, and there's a lot of talk in Tennessee that this isn't just like a temporary thing. They actually think that Tannehill might be the one going forward.
It very well might.
Rather than trying to go out and get another quarterback, and I think that is a great thing for them. You get obviously you have Derrick Henry, who's doing fantastic. You have a competent receiving core, and A.J. Brown next year is going to have another year in the league, be even more reliable. The defense is good, and you could bolster that even more. Mm-hmm. Things are going to come together for the Titans next year, I think.
Yeah. They may come together this year. You never know. There's enough time left where this Titans team could make a run.
I honestly think that the Titans will be in over the Steelers. I haven't looked at rest of schedule to see if that would come true, but that's kind of what I'm envisioning right now.
I think that I would agree in some sense because I think the Titans are a better team right now than the Steelers. When I said that earlier, it was more like I'm preparing myself for this reality more than just I do.
Because right now the Steelers are in the playoffs.
Right.
If they started today,
exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm like, oh god. And so they don't have a terrible schedule down the stretch, which is why the Steelers are they might make it. But Titans, I think will make a good run. There's something about them right now that I feel confident in as well. Next up, the Eagles go to Miami to take on the Dolphins, and the Eagles are coming off another brutal loss. I mean, they're just they can't get anything going on offense. It is just
they were so injured too.
There, it's not even the injuries. It just seems like that nothing. There's nothing that they're scheming right now that is confusing defenses or anything. And I feel like when you have this team, the defense is good, and then you have the Dolphins though, and this is maybe a chance to have a get right game. What do you think's gonna happen?
I'm looking at Carson Wentz. He attempted 45 passes in this game, completed 33 of them, and went for 256 yards. Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah.
However, it's also the Dolphins.
Yep.
So, Eagles.
Yeah,
Choose the Eagles.
I agree. I'm with you on this. I like the Eagles a lot in this one. I think that they got get something going, and they have an easier schedule than the Cowboys.
They do, and I think the Eagles could very well make it into the playoffs and then trade for Nick Foles again. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Trade deadline's passed. That's the only thing stopping them.
Right.
Josh McCown.
Josh McCown might start a playoff game for all we know.
Josh McCown season. Let's do this. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 4-7 take on the Jacksonville Jaguars 4-7 as a battle of the part of Florida that isn't the tip. Both teams coming off. Actually, Buccaneers coming off of a win. Jaguars coming off of a loss. Jaguars have Nick Foles back. Buccaneers still have Jameis Winston, who might lead the league in both touchdowns and interceptions this year.
Nick Foles has been back for 2 weeks and hasn't done jack shit.
Yep.
And the Bucs have played a really nice game against the Falcons. And the Jaguars' defense is awful. It's awful. They're not. The rush defense is bad. The pass rush is bad. The secondary is bad. Everything about this team is bad. Calais Campbell is not doing as well as he did earlier in the year. Yannick Ngakoue is one of the biggest disappointments of this season. And the offense can't do anything outside of DJ Chark. Leonard Williams cannot really get much on the ground. Leonard
Fournette's doing okay.
He's all right. Buccaneers right now. I think that I think their defense played really well, and I think that they in an enemy stadium, and I think that yes, Jameis Winston is not reliable, but you have receivers that are in Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and a running back core. You know that I think that Ronald Jones is really starting to show that he can be. He's starting to play to his pedigree as they were drafted, and Peyton Barber behind him is like all right. He's at least providing another depth to them. I just like the Bucs much more in this matchup. I think they're a better team.
I do too. I really do. As much as it pains me to say, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are easily the best receiver duo in the league right now.
It's up there, yeah.
Can you name another receiving duo that is doing better than them, especially considering circumstances?
Considering circumstances, I would agree with that. I mean,
maybe Locke and Metcalf.
I would argue Hopkins and Fuller.
Fuller, but Fuller has to stay healthy though.
He has, and he's been doing really well.
Right. Whenever Fuller plays, he's great.
And he has the past few weeks, and he's been excellent for this team.
Yeah.
So but no, you're right. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is doing really, really well, and it's helping this team continue to win games.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm going Buccaneers.
Next up, the Washington Redskins, coming off of a win finally. Now go to Carolina, take on the Panthers, who are just reeling right now. Have not won a game since earlier November when they blew out the Titans, if we remember that.
Yep.
But now they get something that they should win with. What do you think is going to happen?
If the Panthers lose this game, I'm going to be so sad. But no, you have like the Panthers are going to win, especially with the level that Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore are playing at right now.
Yeah.
And the not a team that Washington has. Panthers are going to win.
Yeah, I think Panthers take care of business as well. I'm with you.
All right, game of the year, San Francisco 49ers against Baltimore Ravens, potential Super Bowl matchup, Super Bowl preview. Each of them coming off of a domination of their opponent, for lack of a better word. What do you think is going to happen in this matchup?
I'm going home team. I'm going Ravens.
Okay.
I have more faith in... The 49ers defense is good, but I think we're going to play the opposite game that I usually play. Is like, what is the worst unit on the field? I think it might be the 49ers offense.
I would agree with that.
And I think the Baltimore defense is really good. And
especially since Marcus Peters joined.
Yes, and at home, I feel like they're going to really be reeling. And Lamar Jackson is just such a unique talent that it's going to be hard to stop him. It's going to be low scoring, I think. But I think that the Ravens get it done just with the amount of playmaking ability they have, especially with Jackson alone.
I really agree with you. I think Lamar Jackson is insanely special as a player, and the rest of his offense, like you saw what they did to the Rams last night. Mm-hmm. The Rams don't their defense isn't as good as it used to be, but it's still not a quote unquote bad defense.
No, I don't think so.
No. So I'm so confident that the Ravens are going to win, despite the pedigree that the 49ers have built. I'm so confident the Ravens are going to win. I'm going to guarantee that.
Wow, that's awesome. I think that's a good guarantee.
It's good because the last guarantees I've had have been the Seahawks are fine, but I did guarantee the Jets 2 weeks ago, so I need a guarantee between good teams.
Yeah.
On my resume.
Yeah, and this is a good one to do. I do have faith that the Ravens pull it through. And look,
this is also my first guarantee repeat of the season.
Yeah.
Last time I chose the Ravens, I did get them wrong, but
that was against the Browns, right?
That was against the Browns.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Niners pull it out. There's something about Ravens pull it out.
Oh Jesus.
I think the Ravens pull it out, and I think the Niners. Well, I was gonna say, and I ended up combining sentences. The Niners are traveling to the East Coast, because that's what this is. You're traveling essentially to the East Coast right now,
and it's a 1 p.m. game.
It's a 1 p.m. game,
which means it's 10 a.m. for them.
Yeah, man, I think that this is the safer play to go with right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. I'm going Ravens.
All right.
Next up, the Rams travel to Arizona, take on the Cardinals, and the Cardinals coming off of a bye after almost upsetting the Niners the week prior, and the Rams are just in pieces. They are just not doing well right now and they got their ass handed to them by Baltimore. What do you think is going to happen?
Arizona is playing good teams close.
Mm-hmm.
They kept up with the Buccaneers. Not Buccaneers aren't a good team, but they have a good offense. They almost beat the 49ers twice.
Yep.
And I see a lot in this team that, especially with a team that is against a team that is such on the decline, I'm going to go with the Cardinals, and I'm going to team chaos them.
Double that, my friend. We're team chaosing it together. This is the one that I felt like stood out the most out of all of them. I think that you have a Rams team that just cannot get out of its own way, has not played well on either, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Cardinals defense played decently, hasn't been amazing, but I really believe in Kyle Murray. I think that he can really pull off a great upset, and it's at home. That really helps, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to go switch Christian Kirk in my lineup right now. There you go.
I don't need him. I've got the in fantasy I've got the number 1 seed already locked up. #brag.
Just keep in mind. I mean, yes, you're fine either way, but just keep in mind that I think Ramsey still is a decent quarterback, and that might be that might be a little difficult. But outside of that,
I'll reconsider.
Outside of that, though, I think the Cardinals. But you saw, even though Ramsey tried to play well against the Ravens, he did not. And I'm certainly not trying to say that the Cardinals are the Ravens in this, but I am saying that I think that the offense could be dynamic enough for the Cardinals where the Rams continue to have problems.
As long as the Cardinals can figure out some sort of run game, or if they just don't do that at all and just pass all the time.
Yeah,
that seems to work for them, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably the other thing that might hold them back from winning this game is the running. But I think that happens. I just am very much off the Rams train, and we'll see how it plays out for them. Next up,
Los Angeles Chargers now take on the Denver Broncos, a divisional matchup between the two teams on the bottom.
Yeah.
What do you think this one's going to go? Chargers coming off of a bye previously in Mexico City.
Yeah. This is a tough one. I for some reason had initially picked the Broncos here, but after hearing how badly the Broncos played on offense in that game, I think the Chargers always find a way to give their games up. And I feel like that could happen in this circumstance, but I'm going to go with the Chargers just because they're going to get Derwin James back very soon. And I don't know if it's going to be this week or next, but if he plays in this game, I think that's going to be a factor, and I think it's going to hurt the Broncos moving forward. Although there has been reports that potentially Drew Lock might play this week. I don't know. He's either going to play this week or he's going to play the following week, but he's coming. He's in the the behind the curtain at the moment.
Either way, I don't think that's going to make an impact. I'm going to stick with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
You can't keep him down for too long.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Kansas City Chiefs host the Oakland Raiders in this would have been an amazing matchup if the Raiders took care of business last week, but the East Coast road team, really got to them. Or the fact that they were a road team on the East Coast really wore them down, and they just did not play well. And now it's becoming even harder for them to make the playoffs at this point. Now with the Kansas City Chiefs, they're coming off of a bye. Patrick Mahomes potentially healthy. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
If the Raiders played well last week, I would be very interested in seeing if I would actually choose the Raiders. Mm-hmm. But with a fully especially with a bye week to get the Chiefs fully healthy, I think that will pay dividends in Kansas City's offense being what they need to be. Mm-hmm. Last time they faced, Chiefs did what Chiefs do, and I think that will happen again. So as much as I want to kind of sway to the Raiders side, I'm going to stick with the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I feel like at this point that the Chiefs I think that they're gonna be fine. I'm still not a big fan of the defense, even though they do make a few plays here and there. But I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs, and I'll guarantee it for this one. Because I think that I don't think the Raiders can rebound from this Jets loss that they had. Might be close, but it's on the road. They just don't play well on the road, so going with Chiefs.
All right, New England Patriots take on the Houston Texans. Houston, a very nice win against Indianapolis. Patriots, a rainy, wet win against the Cowboys just this past week. How do you think this matchup is going to go on Sunday Night Football?
Damn, this is tough because it is very obvious that the Patriots' offense is not where it should be, and the defense has been carrying them. My motto has always been always pick the Patriots, and as long as Tom Brady's the quarterback and Bill Belichick's the head coach, I have to. And I don't think that the Bill O'Brien Texans have ever beaten this team. Granted, this is a very talented team, and this is a tough matchup to pick overall. But I think the Patriots are going to just pull it out because they always end up doing so.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I think it makes a big difference being in Houston.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and invigoration from the Texans to really prove themselves. And again, like this is I'm gonna say like the third not ultra competent. I don't know what I'm saying. The Patriots have still relatively had an easy schedule, and
Yeah.
Cowboys last week they beat, Eagles they beat, Ravens they lost to. Obviously the Texans aren't as good as the Ravens, but I see I see a way in which the Texans can win. I think home field helps with that, and I'm gonna go with the Texans.
Okay.
Mainly to like try to get something going for me to catch up with you. Because as much as I want to make like the right picks, I still want to like win this pick competition. And if we keep picking the same picks, I'm never gonna fucking catch up. So I need something where I know we'll disagree and that I can see my openings to.
Is this the third disagreement we had today, or second?
This is, I believe, just the second, because we
that's
we
right
on our chaos.
Because I
talked me out of two of our disagreements.
Okay.
So we have the Bears matchup and we have the Patriots matchup.
All right, fair enough. Okay, and thank God that neither of these matchups have any sort of guarantee or team chaos hanging over them.
Yeah, thank God.
That we
can't do that again.
We can at least be okay with that. Hey, I mean, this is a great opportunity for you to catch up, and if you win these two games, you do end up catching up, and we'll see how the team chaoses and guarantees go for point wise, but. I really like the Texans pick. I just morally I think that's the only
morally?
that's the only reason why I can't go.
I don't think there are any morals in choosing the Patriots. I think it's philosophically.
There you go. That's a fair.
It's the better one. School of thought rather than school of soul.
Yeah, school of soul. It's the soul school.
Like you choose with either your mind, your body, or your soul, and you're like. The Patriots are choosing with your mind, but not with your soul.
I loved the Blues Brothers reference I just made. It's fine, whatever. I'll just laugh to myself. It's fine.
I'm sorry. No, I'm upset that I didn't recognize it because I love the Blues Brothers.
Last but not least, Monday Night Football, the Vikings at the Seahawks. The Vikings, I mean, they come off of a bye, and they have been doing relatively well. And they are in... I mean, I think that this is a team that they're starting to really show that they can just play at any level. It feels like that they're able...
Yeah.
You know, and even though the last game they played, they had to come back against the Broncos which is wild to think. But they did it. They did it, exactly. They were able to pull it out and ultimately prove that they are the better team in that sense. The Seahawks, on the other hand, they're just riding high. They're kicking ass. And at this point, when you look at the schedules, the Seahawks have a great chance to be a bye team and have the Niners play in the wild card weekend. Just schedule alone that we're talking about right now. It just seems like that's the direction that it's heading. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Yeah, like you said, Seahawks have a really good upcoming schedule. I'm going to pull it up right now. I like both these teams, and yeah, look at the Seahawks. They have Vikings, Rams, Panthers, Cardinals, and then Niners. God, I hope Week 17 decides the division.
That would be it might actually happen.
God, I hope that happens. You know what? No, I hope that decides number one in the NFC, not just the division.
It very well could.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Oh my God. Okay, so. Yeah. That being said, I'm going to stick with the Seahawks. I like what the Vikings are doing, and I may have chosen differently and I think I made this argument earlier, if the Vikings didn't have a bye last week and played a game, I would be much more comfortable in making a decision, especially if the Vikings played well. But they had a bye, so it's harder to see like the most recent thing done. But the Seahawks can do what they need to do to win. They've been like Russell Wilson was big MVP candidate for a while, and like because he was passing so well, and then the Eagles for some reason stopped him from passing well, so they dominated the run with Rashad Penny in this game. Chris Carson's still good. They have a really good receiving core with Lockett, Malik Turner. Josh Gordon, DK Metcalf, that they're using all of, and I really like the Seahawks team.
I'm with you on this. I like the Seahawks. I like them at home, and there you do have situations where their offense last week did not play very well, and that could reflect in this game when you have a tougher Vikings defense coming around. But the Vikings defense is not like incredibly dominant where you can't have a turnaround game.
They're middle of the road.
Yeah, right. And I think that this is kind of where I could see the Seahawks just basically putting all the Vikings talent to the side. The Seahawks just like, yeah, you guys have been cute, but we're about to run away with this division potentially with this game. So I like the Seahawks a lot. I think that they'll take care of business, and maybe Russell Wilson will have a chip on his shoulder that he's no longer the MVP favorite. Who knows?
Yeah.
If we're going down those analogies. But yeah.
All right. We've done it.
it.
The Thanksgiving special.
Yeah.
That's the exact same length as the rest of our podcast.
We nearly had 4 disagreements, but we narrowed it down to 2.
Yeah, one of them. I'm looking back, thankful you talked me out of. The other one, it's like it still could have gone either way for me.
Oh, for sure. And hey, if you want a third game,
go
for it. Oh, you're set.
Now. I don't want to get like too far behind in case things go south.
Okay, all right. 2 games is a good just streamline.
Yeah,
that you can deal with.
Right.
All right, fair enough.
Risk cost. No, that's time sink fallacy is what I'm thinking of. What the fuck am I going on about?
Yeah.
Risk versus reward. That's all I had to fucking say.
There you go. So to recap, Bears, Lions, we disagreed. Patriots, Texans, we disagreed. And the guarantees are the Ravens and Chiefs, and the Team Chaoses but it's just the Cardinals.
Yep, both chose Cardinals.
Yeah, so we're gambling together on one machine. I like that, or at least for some extra moolah on that one. All right, so next week. We will be back with college football's wrapping up, and I'm really excited about bowl season. I may do like a mini segment on bowl season. In fact, you know what I'm thinking? Maybe a bowl pick'em 2 weeks from now. Potentially,
hey, I could do that.
We could pick up the bowl games, even though we have no earthly. I mean, we have some idea, maybe of the of the better teams, but
Yeah.
But next week, though, to go along with the college football vibes, we're gonna make the college football playoff NFL style. So stay tuned for that. Table Party released its first episode last week, and I think the second episode's in the works within the next either this week or next week. I forget when the first episode actually came out for Table Party.
I'm not sure, but it's out.
It is out,
so go look at it.
Yeah,
and listen to it. It's really fun.
You can visit. It's right now up on our YouTube channel. If you go to our Twitter page at Team Chaos Pods, it's the YouTube link is in the description. Click on that. It'll bring you to the page where you can listen to it. I've talked to Matt about potentially putting it up on Anchor to get some, which would end up putting it on Spotify through that. I haven't heard back from him on that. I don't know when he's going to do that, but for right now, if you want to listen to it right now, it's up on YouTube. If you want to check that out, and we have other things in the works as always. So keep following us, keep tabs on the things that we are doing. And I think with that covers the bases. So thank you all so much for listening. See you next week.
Goodbye and good ball. I went back to the normal one that time. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.